What's up, everyone? This is Bacon here, and today we finally have Mira unlocked and available. And so I'm gonna be going over her kit, talking about her signature items, her divine abilities, and then kind of sharing my thoughts on her. And then at the end, I'm actually gonna pull like 60, 70, 80 scrolls for her just to see what I can get. Because I am curious in her. I'm not really sure like how good she's gonna be yet. And honestly, I have mixed feelings, but I think like, as far as, like, her kit goes and, like, her looks and just, like, character as a whole, I think she's really cool, really interesting. But I'm not really sure how well she's gonna be. So, that's not me saying that you should definitely pull for her, but I just because she's a new character that's not in either classic or companions until now, I think it would be really fun to pull for her. So, let's jump into her kit. Let's look at her abilities. So, her abilities are really long. She's one of those just has a million things on here, so bear with me. Reflection Revival, Mira can take both a human and a Graveborn form. In human form, Mira's normal attacks restore her energy, while in Graveborn form, Mira launches magic orbs at enemies. This skill can only be used actively while in human form, dealing damage equal to 250% of her attack rating to all enemies on the battlefield and applying 3 stacks of Wandering to them. Mira then changes into Graveborn form for 10 seconds, after which she returns to human form. Mira is invincible and cannot be targeted while changing forms. The wandering effect cannot be dispelled, and upon reaching 10 stacks, the enemy becomes terrified for 3 seconds, during which no more stacks of wandering can be applied to them. Passive: upon taking fatal damage, Mira retains 100 health and gains immunity to death for 1 second, plus a shield with a value equal to 40% of her max health. When the death immunity effect ends, the remaining shield value is converted into health. Death immunity can be triggered 1 time per battle. If Mira is a human form when triggered, she immediately casts Reflective Revival to change into Graveborn form permanently. At level 2, the damage increased to 280% of her attack rating when her passive is triggered by taking fatal damage. The shield gained is increased to 50%. And then at level 3, active damage is increased to 310% of her attack rating. And then when Mira is in Graveborn form, she has more than 500 energy and she gains immunity control effects. And so it looks like she is another unit, kind of like Shaltir, who has a lot of, cheating deaths where she's not going to die the first time she dies. Which honestly, in companions, I feel like the more and more units that come out, it's just going to be crucial that there are units like this, because if you don't have some sort of ability to not cheat death, then you kind of are just weak. Unfortunately, I think it's starting a precedent where every unit that's new might have something like this. So we'll see. But I think it's cool that she has the kind of switching between Graveborn and human form. Going to her Hunter Seal ability in human form, Mira targets the enemy farthest from herself and teleports them to the area of the enemy battlefield with the highest concentration of allies, then deals damage equal to 120% of her attack rating and stuns enemy for 2 seconds. In Graveborn form, she continuously casts a spell at the enemy with the highest health, inflicting multiple strikes of damage equal to 80% of her attack rating and applying 1 stack of Wandering. If any hunters are present on the battlefield, then Mira's skills in both of her forms will prioritize targeting them. In human form, the damage dealt after teleportation is increased to 200% of her attack rating, and the stun duration is increased to 2.5 seconds. Graveborn form, the damage from each strike is increased to 100% of her attack rating. If casting is interrupted, the speed of the next cast will be increased by 20%, and then unlocks Hunter Seal's skill upgrade. When cast, Mira selects 1 additional enemy to target. If there are not enough targets, the attack power of the cast is increased by 30%. And so the Hunter's Mark, you kind of mentions the Hunter component of her kit. This is where you're going to see here the Hunter's Mark passive. So at the start of battle, the enemy hero farthest from Mira becomes a hunter until the battle ends. Every 10 seconds, or when all hunters on the battlefield die, the next farthest enemy hero is selected to become a hunter. Allies deal 10% more damage to hunters, and damage taken from hunters is reduced by 10%. Damage dealt to hunters is increased by 15%, while damage taken from them is reduced by 15% at level 2. At level 3, every 8 seconds, or when all hunters, so it goes from 10 seconds to 8 seconds with hunters being selected. And then at level 4, it's 6 seconds. So this ability is, it's interesting. It's I could see it being useful against potentially different Dream Realm bosses, maybe the guild boss that, damage amplification and reduction could be nice. I think when you have several bosses you have to fight in the guild at the same time, then might as well throw her in there. And so we'll see how that works. Every 6 seconds, I feel like is pretty frequent compared to 10. But I mean, when there's only 5 units on the field, that's going to be 30 seconds. So within 30 seconds, everyone will be marked. Could be good. We'll see. And then Phantom's Glare in human form, Mira targets all hunters and places a mirror spirit behind each of them for 2 seconds. When an enemy with a mirror spirit uses their ultimate, the spirit will dispel most of their buffs. In Graveborn form, Mira targets all hunters and places a mirror shadow behind each of them for 2 seconds. Mirror shadows have the same effects as mirror spirits, but mirror shadows also terrifies enemies, dealing damage equal to 80% of Mira's attack rating and applying 1 stack of wandering every 1 second. At level 2, the duration of mirror spirits is increased to 3 seconds, and the duration of mirror shadows is increased to 3 seconds. The damage dealt by mirror shadows is increased to 120% of Mira's attack rating. Level 3, for each enemy with a mirror spirit or mirror shadow, Mira recovers an extra 30 energy. And then at level 4, Phantom's Glare skill upgrade. For each enemy with a mirror spirit or mirror shadow, Mira's attack rating is permanently increased by 8% for a maximum attack rating boost of 40%. So the 40% attack boost is pretty big, I feel like. She has a lot of energy regeneration, getting energy in her kit overall. The one thing I will say is during the arenas of trial, when I was kind of messing with her, her damage output seemed a little low. I don't know if it's just the units I was facing or what, but compared to some of the other units I was using, they were just kind of middle to low amount of damage wise. That's why I think she might be better in certain unique circumstances. But we'll kind of get into where I think she might be valuable later on. So looking at her divine effects, so these three. So the first one, because these are just stat buffs, which are nice, but attack percent, magic penetration, nice to have, but not really the main goal of the divine effects. So if we look at this, the first 2 casts of Reflective Revival will apply 10 stacks of Wandering, and then unlock these extra skills in here. So Hunter Seal skill and Phantom Glare. So you can see here, that divine effect will unlock level 4 here, and then right here. So you can see when a divine effect is the requirement to unlock a certain skill level, because it'll say unlocks here. Phantom's Glare skill upgrade unlocks. Whereas these ones, it just says every 6 seconds active damage. And so that's what these two are, basically giving her those extra bit of ability bonuses here. So I think getting her to 5 Phantom's Glare is probably pretty important. I think this is a really nice buff here. And then this is probably, this is a nice one too. So I think both these are probably pretty solid. I would definitely say if you want to build her out, probably 5 stars is ideal. But I think you might be able to find more use for her at a lower star level too, if you're not wanting to build her completely out. So let's go ahead and look at her signature item. So upon activation, when Mira attacks an enemy affected by Wandering or Terrified, they suffer health loss equal to 1% of their max health, not to exceed 100% of her attack rating. Health loss is increased to 2%, and then 200% of attack rating. When stacks of Wandering trigger Terrified, if the enemy is immune to control effects, they take extra damage equal to 40% of their max health, not to exceed 400. And then when stacks of Wandering trigger, whether or not the enemy is immune to control effects, they'll always take extra damage equal to 5% of their max health, not to exceed 500%. And so this, I think, is where you will see that she is pretty strong against some of the guild bosses, the Dream Realms. The percent health damage is always pretty significant against those type of bosses. Especially this, if the enemy is immune to control effects, they take an extra damage, 4%. I think that's pretty unique. That's pretty cool, because there are definitely situations where that would be applicable. I don't know what they would be off the top of my head, but there are definitely units and bosses and guild bosses where they are immune to control effects. So that would be really cool. I think, getting this to probably 20 is probably where you want to go. But if you're wanting to do maximum damage, obviously maxing out, just like any other unit, is probably what you'd want to do. If you didn't realize, she's a Graveborn unit. She is magic-based, mage class, and then burst damage. So that's her kind of description that's been given to us. And so let's go ahead and look at the Arena of Trials. I've already completed it, so we're not going to be doing that, but we can go ahead and look at the wooden dummy. So if we go ahead, she's in her human form. You can see she's gaining that extra energy. And then she goes into her mirror. That's pretty cool. I haven't actually seen her like transform because whenever I was using her, people would die too soon. Um, you can see she hopped right in, but she hopped right out because she had her ability available. There's the stream damage, switching over, alting, the switch back, the terrify there. There's a lot kind of going on with her kit, so it's kind of hard to keep track of what's even happening. But it looks like basically once you kind of have her built out, she's going to pretty much always transform into her Graveborn form because of her energy levels just being maxed out all the time. And so she's just gonna basically hop right in and hop right back. And so that's how she works. Wish there's a way I could like use her in like a guild boss to see how that would work, but that's how she goes. So now let's go ahead and try to summon for her because I've saved up a little bit. I think I have enough to get to the 60, but we'll see if we get lucky, get a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do some summons. Okay, none in the first 20. None in the first 30. None in the first 40. Come on. You got to give me one. All right, there we go. There's one. Yeah, I mean, I just love like the aesthetic look of her. I think she looks really cool. When she was in the winter event and I saw her, I was like, they put a lot of detail into this unit to not have her as like a playable unit in the game. So I was kind of hoping that was a sign they'd use her eventually, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. But like even like this artwork with like the mirror, it's super cool. I think it's really cool. Pretty unique, pretty artistically cool. All right, so we got one in the first 70 pulls, 60 pulls, 60 pulls. So not ideal. I did get another 10 scrolls. So let's go ahead and use those. Nope. So nothing in the first 70. I think I'm going to keep pulling until I get to the 360 mark. Maybe go for the chest, but I don't know. We'll see. But overall, I think it's too soon to really know how good she's going to be or she's going to fit in. My gut reaction, Forked Fate, because of her ability to not die the first time, pretty valuable there, especially as you're getting to the point where there's 3 teams you have to use. I think she could be really solid there. I think there's potential against some bosses, Guild Boss, Dream Realms, those different areas. Overall, for campaign in the towers, I'm not really sure, honestly. I think if you build her out, I think in campaign and towers, when you build out a unit, they're going to have some value there, regardless of which unit it is. But I don't know if she's going to be like exceptional or like super great, like someone like Damon in those areas. We'll see. I don't want to like say one way or the other, but my gut reaction is she'll fit in. You could definitely use her, but she's not going to be game changing. And then as far as arena goes, I could see there being some value with her being in arena. But compared to, Mishka, Shaltir, Solace, like those units being in there, I just don't know if she would be good enough to kind of bump out one of those other units. Now that they're bringing multi-team arena in soon, I think there could be some value there, but we will see. But that is my thoughts about Mira so far. I think overall, pretty exciting unit. I'm glad that they're putting units in the game that aren't just old classic units, but they're doing new ones. Next, I'm hoping that I know they're doing some reworks with Arena. Hoping they'll do some reworks with some of the stargazing stuff next. We'll see. No guarantees there, but that's all, guys. Let me know what you think about Mira. For those of you who have pulled her or have been messing with her, I'm curious what your thoughts on her are. But leave a like and subscribe below if you like this video. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments below. But as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.